Good morning, Shubh Subha Sabhi everyone in Bharat and everywhere else. Dear friends, it's easy to run away, but very difficult to face situation. Everybody can run away when you are fail. Once you are failure, running away is successful. But if you stand to face problem, to face opposition of flow of water in wind river, you are called a resistant person. Running away is not answer to any problem. It may be our country or it may be other country or it may be home or something else. One has to face consequences. One has to face music and that is called life. If I create some problem, of course, I create some problem. Solution I must know. If I don't know solution, if somebody else has to solve this, means I am not a competent person. It applies to everybody. If I am not competent, I cannot call myself competent one, capacity one. I don't have any capacity. That's why I can create problem. If I know solution to that problem, it's called engineering. Means okay, I discovered problem and solve it. This is general. A person who creates problem and unable to solve this means that is a kid, that is a student, that is a boy or girl who just knows how to play with something and create a problem and after escapes. And that is happening in most cases nowadays all over the world. Just create problem and escape. Somebody else to help solve that problem. And that is not called a good act. One must understand what to do, what not to do. So we do it, of course. सॉल्व करना बड़ा मुश्किल है, समस्या का प्रॉब्लम को क्रिएट करना बड़ा आसान है। काम आता है नहीं आता है, शुरू कर दो, देखा जाएगा, जो होगा बाद में संभालेंगे। जब कोई प्रॉब्लम आएगी तो देखेंगे। पानी में डूब गए आप, बाहर कैसे आएंगे? बाहर निकालने के लिए आपको कोई तैराक चाहिए, कोई डाइवर चाहिए। यू नीड सम, यू हैव fallen yourself in water, you are driving into water and there's no, you cannot come out because you don't know how to swim. You need somebody else to take you out. You need some divers, and that's the problem here itself. We don't have divers, but I have dipped in, I have gone down, I'll die. That's what. Our country, Bharat, is a great one, very big country. People, around 40 crore people. We must understand our lives, but we are not understanding anything. Our government is same because they are coming from our people. We are elected people from among ourselves, and we are standing to govern us with parliament from the and the executive body, and that's called our own government, our own system. That's what Constitution says. We are own responsible. We are responsible ourselves to select and elect these people and put them in government, and they do in a similar way as we are supposed to get them do. And they do in a way they want to because they are also same as we are. We are not serious, they are not serious. We are sleeping, they are sleeping. If you take something for granted, they take us for granted. Everything is excuse here, everything is forgetful. If something happens today, and you after 2 or 3 days or some days, some 1 week pass, we forget that. When we passes and we forget a problem. Problem goes behind scene, behind, and in history it becomes, and they remember only when there is another problem coming in. Oh, we had that problem, we then learned a lesson from that problem, we got another problem. Sorry, we slept for 7 days, and we forgot that problem. Another type, same type of problem has reoccurred, and then again, same type of reoccurred, second time, third time, fourth time, and we goes on like this forever, and we don't learn lesson from that. That is our culture. This is not a standard culture. This is not an international culture. This is a culture of our foolish people in this country. Our everybody is foolish in this way. We are not serious at all. We are just depending upon each other. Oh, no problem. Take it easy. Life is easy. Everything is easy. And then we take it easy. Life takes time takes us easy. Time don't care for us. Why should time should care for us? Time will never care for us. We are then victim of time. We are victim of time. We are victim. No, we are not victim. It is our responsibility. We didn't take care of that. In science, in engineering, in every area, you have to understand problem, solve it. You have to analyze problems. Every time I say that you have to analyze problem and solve it, but we don't analyze because analysis of problem takes your mind, takes your energy, takes your thought process only. Then you can analyze. Otherwise, enjoy life. Take it easy, enjoy all comforts, and live as you only want to live. Don't worry about others. God, great Bharat, our Bharat is moving in same direction. We create problems. Many problems we create ourselves. Economical problem we create ourselves. Law and order problem we create ourselves. Pollution problem we create ourselves. And you can say people's fate problem we create ourselves. Population problem we create ourselves. There is not even a single problem that we are not responsible for that to create that one. We have no solution for that. We just keep it moving and take it easy for everything. No problem at all. God will take care of that. I just think as God is our servant and God is working only for us. He will take care of this. God is not business at all. We just put everything on God. God will take care. We will not take care of. We will not think on that. Why should we think? We are just living, eating, drinking, and sleeping. That's it. That's our job. This is great Bharat. Yeah, 140 crore people, we cannot utilize those people. And so much, so big government, so big private sector, we can't use it properly, and that's why everything is coming on there in a bad way, in that way. And that's very very tragic, it is, and we have to understand that it's not the way we want to that, and that's very very difficult. In fact, we have to understand this point of view very clearly, but we are not understanding at all. We are just taking it for granted and nothing else, and it's really not acceptable. We have to understand that it's badly done, it's badly done, and we have to understand ourselves. It's time is always time. How can time wait for someone? It is foolishness. We cannot leave time for granted. We cannot be ourselves for that. Really, it is sorry to say, and I am accusing our people, and we deserve to be accused by ourselves first. Just like when we accept some success, we credit to ourselves. Every wrong work is to be debited to us also. And those people who accept their mistakes and who realize from mistakes, they learn from mistakes. These people learn from lessons. You can say what happened, how is God, what they learned in life, and that's called lessons learned. Those learned, they are called good people, they are called progressive people, intelligent people, and they don't repeat mistakes. But we repeat mistakes. Our problem is we do something, we don't take any care before doing that. We do not count what risk is there, what risk factors are there, how to consider that, what hazards could appear from there. We don't even consider about hazards, and we just move on as and to reach direction by making so many accidents, involving in so many ill acts, and we do that. It just, you can say, illogical explanation I'm talking, because I am so much frustrated with what's happening in our country and how people's thinking modesty is, how people model of thinking is, you can say, model of thinking has become a rotten one. There's no philosophy, there is no criteria of consideration what to do or what to think. Don't think anything. Best thing is, if you don't want to have any stress or strain in your mind, stop thinking. Don't think. Just enjoy your narcotics, enjoy your drinks, take food and sleep. Don't take any stress. And no stress means no invention. No stress means no formula generation. No stress means you cannot find new ways in life. And when there is no new ways, right, we have to move on the old way, which is not a good one or which is not best one. You just keep on moving that way, and you just live for that and don't do anything. I'm discredit in general. I'm not discrediting it in a specific way. There are good people also, but those are ignored, negligible in number, maybe 1%, 2%, hardly, not more than that. So you may say 1% is very good. Yes, 1% is very good for you, but not for nation and not for world. Why do we lag behind in understanding all problems and resorting to solutions? Why do we not think about problems that may appear in if we take some steps? Why don't you understand that? Are we intelligent or we are not intelligent? There are two issues we have to consider. There is one thing, we are intelligent, but we are not using that intelligence. And if we are not using that intelligence, the result is that we are not brilliant, we are not specific, we are not pointing something, we are just taking something as superficial and as a carpet, and that's it. Or we are not intelligent, means we are duffers, we are not educated. This means our education, our literacy system is not giving us knowledge, it's not developing our minds. We are taking that way. I am illiterate, for example. You are illiterate. We are illiterate only in letters, not in spirit. We know letters, but we don't know what spirit lies behind that. So letters and spirits must be together. But here we have only letter knowledge, not spiritual knowledge. What that letter says, we don't understand that. We know, okay, fine. We never analyze any article. We never analyze its contents. We just go empirical. Yes, we know this meaning is that. We don't want to try, just sectionalize it and see what's lying behind that, behind that article. We are not behind. We don't study that way. There is our study does not inculcate in minds. You think, initiate thinking. Maybe you get no answer by thinking, or initiate thinking, because thinking forces your mind to work, to remain active. But you don't want to be. We just measure your knowledge by having certain certifications issued by universities, and you measure that way. This is my value, this is my knowledge, this is my learning, and that learning is limited one. That learning of a few years, 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, say, within that period you learn something and your measurement of that certificate tells you, oh yes, it is. After that, you don't value work, you don't value experience, you don't value learning from fear, learning from experience, or empirical knowledge, or practical knowledge, or you may say expertise. We don't value about that. Yes, of course, international field, international domain accepts that. That's why we have started that in some professions, but in general, it's not happening. Here, we are democracy. Of course, we are democracy, big democracy, number one democracy in world. In Hindi, we call it Loktantra. But we have to understand, we have to analyze, we have to make sure that are we democratic really? Question arises: are we democratic, really democratic, or we are just democratic for name's sake? But my understanding is we are just democratic for name's sake. We only know democracy to a confinement, to a limit that we have just to vote, and after that, my democracy stops. After that, my democracy stops incomplete. My job is over. I have given vote, and then democracy starts from that leader whom I made my representative. But he is never a representative. He is a leader. Whom he leads, he doesn't know. He leads me, or he leads my constituency, or he leads nation, or he leads the world. I don't know what he does, but I elected one representative. After that, my relation to that election is over. My relation to representative is over, and that representative relation to me is over. This is our democracy. So how can you say this is democracy? What does democracy mean? Does democracy mean only vote, right of franchise, right of suffrage, or does it have any other meaning? This point must be understood. Constitution does not say you have no right in democracy. It says you have all constitutional rights or natural rights. You have rights, but who will give you that rights? Constitution shall give you that rights. Of course, it gives. Constitution is giving you right, but how to use that right is your headache. It's not constitutional headache. It's not leader's headache. But you cannot use that right. I voted him and he's working for me. He is working for you, but you don't know what is working for you. If I have put someone in power, that person must tell me what I am doing. But that person doesn't tell you because you're not asking him, and that person knows nobody is asking me. It's very easy. There is a fact in this. If that person who is in power, whom I empowered him to do something, and that person knows that nobody is going to examine me, nobody is going to ask me question, why should that person worry? Why should he worry for me? I'm no one to him. I have been treated just a person, that's a useless person. Once in 5 years he votes me, and that's his job. So he has nothing, no value in society. I am leader, I have a value. That is a real understanding in our country. We don't understand democracy. We only say we are democratic, but we are not in fact democratic. Our democracy is not a real democracy. It is just a democracy for name's sake, just a democracy stand in line for 2 hours and cast your vote and come back, and that's it, your democracy is over. After that, your right is gone. Now it is powerful person who is in power. That person, he decides whatever way he wants to decide. That person decides, and he doesn't care. He doesn't ask you even what democracy is then. This was your democracy only for 2 hours in 5 years. It means 3 vote you have to give every 5 years. One for parliament, and one for assembly, and one for other institutions. So 2 into that's a 6 hours democracy you have out of these 5 years, which are how many hours you can celebrate. So what percent of democracy you have? After that, there's no value for you. Okay, you are a voter, get lost. Who bothers with you? Your representative will never see you. You will not see your representative. You shall never know what is happening. You will not care for anything, and that person never bothers about you. And after the next man comes in 5 years and he is elected by, of course, you elect. Your job is only to elect, and that is limited democracy for you. More than this, you don't have anything. Did you expect this democracy, or you expect some other thing? Did you ever ask yourself? Did I ask myself? What does democracy mean? It means only to elect some stupid person, and that person do whatever that person wants, and I should keep supporting blindly that person. This is not democracy. I never call this democracy. If public is not involved, this is not democracy. This is authoritarian democracy. It's not real democracy. A person who comes to power, he thinks I am everything. He forgets this power comes from some people who are at lowest profile. It comes from the most poor people, poorest of poor people, but that person is ignored. That person who is in power, he never even thinks of whether that person is getting food at night or not getting food, whether or not that person is sleeping well or not. Nobody thinks about that. So where is democracy? Is this democracy for leaders only, not for public? If that is democracy, then I don't need democracy. You need democracy. I don't need that democracy. If my elected person does not think for poorest of more poor, he thinks only for those. He either donates money to someone or he gets some benefit. If he cares only for that, then why should I vote? Should I vote only because it is written in Constitution? Or my duty is to vote? Or I am born to vote? If I am born in this country, it is my born duty that I have to vote every 5 years under any circumstances. I should not get any benefit, or I should get benefit. I don't know. What vote this vote shall give me, I don't know. It's giving to me nothing except it's giving to someone, people who are ruling this country. Whom they are ruling, I don't know. I am not ruled by them. Others, because I'm not getting any solution, so there is no rule. If that person is not working for me, I'm not getting any solution. How can I say that I'm getting what I wanted? I didn't get anything. And I am out of control. I have no power to pull that person back from that power. I have power, but I'm using, because that power is not single-handed. That power is a gathering power, a power of collective public, collective mandate. That power is not available to me because I cannot hold that man and fight with him and raise questions to him. That is my power which I have, but I cannot do that because I am alone. And you cannot get people together to take such risks. In our country, we are sleeping society. We don't even bother about that. If I talk of something specifically, people laugh. What is talking? This is a problem. We laugh on something which is very serious. We are not taking gravity of seriousness of that one, but we are just laughing. This man is fool. He's talking something, and those people don't understand that problem. That problem affects them every day adversely, but they take it lightly. Oh, he's talking. He's opposition. He's this and that. That way, we just diminish that, and gradually we liquidify that. We liquidate that. So, do I need that type of democracy? Why should I vote then? I'm not bound by voting. It's my right, but my right doesn't give anything. My right, I don't get anything from my right, but someone else is benefited from that right. So that person enjoys power for 5 years without any accountability, without any responsibility, without any liability. That person in power has not responsible. Only thing is, next time he will not come, but he will listen from some other area. So where my vote has gone, my vote has not benefited me. This is analysis, this is detailed study of vote. Now, why should I vote then? Am I slave to vote? It is my natural agreement signed with politics that I have to vote every 5 years, irrespective of that I get some benefit of that. If I don't get that, why should I waste my time? Let that vote go to hell, and let that election go to hell, and let that representative go to hell. Why should I need them? But system it is. We have to follow system. This means there is some trouble, there is some problem, there is some adversity, there is a negativism somewhere existing in system which we are not discovering. We are not unearthing that. Who will unearth that? Shall God come here to unearth that? Why do we need leaders? Question is that. Why we ourselves are not leaders? Why are we so coward that we have to vote to someone? If we don't vote, what that person will do? Means if he gets one vote, he will be elected. So he shall be elected by his own vote. So it's very simple. If no one votes, if that representative votes, he shall be elected. This means there is some problem. There is some deficiency existing in procedures. But who shall do that? Who shall rectify that? We have to rectify that, but we don't want to understand. We don't know think. So are we then human beings? Are we restrained? Are we prohibited to do something? Everybody has to understand and question it yourself. After all, we all are members of this society, this country, this system. And when there are billions or millions of people, thinking is very limited. When there are many people brainstorming on something, they never reach certain decision. And if 1 or 2% just decide something, they can decide. They confer and decide. Large masses never decide. This is true. because masses are masses. Our democracy is foolishness-based democracy. It is democracy conducted by very illiterate people, very, very literate people, very, very highest profile people. This means highest profile and literate people are limited to 2% to 3%. 97% people are those who never bother about something. They don't understand what for they are voting, what does vote mean, why they are voting. They are just waiting for sake of voting. And that is our democracy. Means our democracy is a kind of fictitious democracy. It's a kind of imaginary democracy where we don't value our system, we don't value our power, we don't value our country. We just vote for sake of voting. And that's it. Means we are not evaluating our values, our rights, our potential. We don't value that. And if we don't value that, means we will lose certainly. Because one side are 97% stupidity and other side is 3% intellectualism. So 3% intellectualism and 97% stupidity cannot work together. Either they should be constrained vote, they should be qualified vote. It doesn't exist. System doesn't say that. Constitution doesn't say that. Either there should be concentration of some class of people who can vote. That also doesn't exist here. This means weight of a most stupid person and vote of a most intelligent and brilliant person have same value. So this is democracy or fictitious democracy or deferocracy or what it is. When 97% thoughtless people are there and 3% people who can think, there can be no management in them. Because those people are not going to listen, 97% shall not understand, they shall not have any listening power, they shall not have any analytical power, they just want to live. And these 3% people wants to teach them, they don't want to learn. And these 3% are also selfish somewhere, so they cannot, they have certain limitations. Oh, let them, they don't vote sometimes. If they don't vote sometimes, those people who are voting, who are they then? They're completely, lacking in democracy. They just a crowd, a crowd. There's no one single man in crowd. There's no person who can move against flow of river water. They're just flowing and saying, that's called Bihid Chal, we call it. We say Bihid Chal, somebody says Bihid. I call it crowd movement. There's a crowd movement. There is not a single crowd person who opposes that movement. And political leaders are interested in crowd movement. They are not interested in public movement. They are not interested in democratic movement, and they are not interested in constitutional movement. They are only interested in crowd movement because you manage crowd. You are charismatic leader. Means you are not a leader. You are a charismatic leader. You are leader of those people who don't know ABCD of engineering or ABCD of English or A1 to 2, 1 to 3 of counting. These people are going to elect you. These people are happy. So they enjoy that there is no one to question, because these people, because they don't think, they cannot raise questions. If they cannot raise questions, these ladies are enjoying. Because we have votes, easily votes, we can buy votes, we can purchase votes, we can sway these votes, we can emotionalize these people, we can sentimentalize them. This is a formula they are using, and they are right. Because leaders' interest is to come to power, and these people interest is just to vote. These interests are over. If this person has no ambition, he is lowest class person, he is a crowd, and he just wants food and sleep and clothes and sleep. Now, this is limitation. But leaders' limitation is to loot them. Leaders' limitation is power. We have to understand where we are standing. Of course, Constitution is, I'm not blaming Constitution. Constitution never says you consider various aspects of life. Constitution never says that. It doesn't prohibit anybody. It says you just elect your representative. It clearly says, you read Constitution Article 81, you will find what it says. It still clearly says by direct vote you will constitute Lok Sabha. And what does Constitution meaning? Means you will elect your representative from your constituency, but it doesn't say something else. It does only gives qualification requirement, and that is very simple. It never bars you to think. It never prohibits you not to think something else. It only says these are criteria, you comply this, and if there is something else, you can comply with. Nobody is forcing you, but that point we are not understanding. We do not understand. And because we are limited thinkers, we just say, okay, fine, this man, we just consider something small done by leader, very good, fine, it's done. He's talking of nation. He doesn't know nation, but he's talking of nation. He doesn't know public, he's talking of public. He doesn't know problem of people, but he's talking, I'll solve a problem, and he will never solve. He just say yes, I will. He will speak everything. He can speak anything. Whatever you were required to listen, he will say. He will speak yes. He knows that he is going to fulfill that, because fulfillment depends upon your economy. You cannot fulfill something which is out of scope of economy. You cannot fulfill that. Wealth is everywhere. You need wealth everywhere. You don't have wealth, so you cannot fulfill promise. This is clear. But yes, I'll fulfill that. Then when he cannot fulfill, he will bring a scientific excuse, a very very powerful excuse. Because of this, I could not do it. He will not take any blame. No leader takes any blame. No leader accepts any blame, pass blame to someone else by this formula or that formula. So this is beauty of our leadership, our very top leadership, democratic leadership. They are democratic leaders and they call themselves democratic elected leaders when they are not. They are elected baselessly. They are just elected because they got votes. No other capability these leaders got. Public elected them foolishly, blindly, trusting them, not value evaluating them scientifically, just trusting them. There is no capacity of any voter to raise a question to representative candidate, because that candidate shall not be available with you. You even don't know who is candidate, but you are going to vote. Just understand what I am saying. Your duty is to elect your representative, but you are not going to elect your representative. You are going to elect a forced candidate, an imposed candidate, a candidate who came from sky to your vote, your ballot, or your electronic voting machine. You are just selecting without any power. You are just selecting. You are not boycotting anyone. So we are selecting imaginary candidate. We don't know that candidate. We do not know ABCD of that person. We never met that person. We did not ask any question. He never just a group election. It is that candidate is going in the rally and you just have a way with him without even knowing what person is, and you are going to vote him. So my question is, what type of democracy is this? An imaginary democracy? You don't know a person, you elect him. You don't know what is his mind, what is his character, what he can do for you, what he thinks for you. Does he understand my problem? Does he understand the area's problem? You have an interaction with him and you are going to vote to that person. It applies to everybody. I ask a question, when I do not know someone, why should I vote him? Am I bound by BJP agreement with me, or am I bound by Congress agreement with me, or am I bound with some other political parties agreement with me? Why should I vote them? Am I their slaves? Why should I worry for them? Why I have made them to a level they think they are only indispensable people in politics? Whose fault is this? Is it democracy, or it is stupid democracy, or it is mobcracy, or it is crowdocracy? What does it do for me?